Hi, how's it going? I'm Marlene. Thanks for wandering by and welcome my guest today, Hilo. That's my pup. He's just gonna be hanging around in the background. So today's video is a true confession. I want to talk about and I want to share with you the practices that aren't working for me right now. But stick with me through this because each of those practices that isn't for for the practices that aren't working, I'm only going to talk about a couple. I do have a practice that is working. I realized what was working in the wake of realizing what wasn't working. So let's talk about one thing first, and this might be a fairly quick video. The first thing that I want to share with you that is not working, that has not been working out for me, is the Mega deck, the Mega Oracle deck. Now I'll link it in the cards because there are two videos I think that I spent creating and putting together and curating this Mega Oracle deck out of 4 different Stacey DeMarco oracles, and I have those right here. So it was, let's see, so the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle was one of them, the Elemental Oracle, the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and the Divine Animals Oracle. So what I had done was I had taken all of these oracle decks and I went through all of them, and you can see, if you want to check out what I did in the video, I went through all of them. I curated it. I took out like things that I felt were redundant, and then I put it all in a beautiful Peggy bag. And then I had decided that what I wanted to do was with the Mega Oracle deck specifically is I wanted to use it with my monthly, like start of the month ahead reading. And in this calendar, at the beginning of each month, let me see, I'll show you. I'll open to one that I haven't done yet. So yeah, like here's March coming up. So at the beginning of each month, there is all these different questions. And look at how beautiful this lunar diary is, seasonal diary. Anyway, I wanted to use the Mega deck to answer these questions. And I did January, I did February, and it completely fell flat for me. It didn't resonate. It wasn't, like the cards were beautiful. I understood, the card meanings and everything, but for whatever reason, all together and like shuffling 4 different, even though I took cards out, shuffling like 4 different decks, it was cool, but it didn't work. It didn't work for me. It didn't resonate. It wasn't making sense. And it was also like, making me kind of like, I don't know, it was giving me anxiety thinking about these empty boxes, because I kept these empty boxes just sitting empty in the closet. I don't know if that happens to any of you, but like, I felt like they needed to be separated again. And so that's what I did. So I had saved all of the cards that I had taken out, I guess because I wasn't sure whether or not this experiment was going to work out for me. And I took all of the cards back and I separated everyone, and now they're all in their own separate boxes. And I think my plan is to, give these oracles a chance on their own. I think the impetus for this Mega deck creation was because I was working out how if you check out my video on this making of this Mega deck, the whole beginning of it is where I'm discussing like where I think the messages come from, and like this kind of like a hierarchy that I started working out for myself on, like what energies exist where and how I'm like tapping into it, and things like that. And so I feel like that the exercise of this Mega Oracle deck was really about me like working through the idea of deity, working through the idea of animals, working through the idea of like celestial bodies and like their influence, working through like elemental things and, you know, energies on earth, and stuff like that. Like I wanted to, I think like when I just making the deck and like thinking about those things and sharing them with you was what I needed. And I didn't actually need to work with the deck, if that makes any sense. Because so that like the practice of the mega deck itself, just like you know, I'm just I'm rambling, I'm sorry. Because it's like the practicality of it, like logistically, and the way that I used it, and even just, you know, I mean, those are all just like the mundane things about it, but the connection with it, just, it wasn't there. It just didn't work. So I'm okay with it. I know what I'm gonna do with, you know, I'm keeping these 4 decks. I'm gonna use them on their own or with tarot, or, you know, I'm gonna work with them separately. So it's just all together, that's not happening. But I can share with you something that is working for me, and it's kind of similar. So I first saw these oracle decks. Where did I first see them? Not sure, but I know Lisa, my friend Lisa Papez, has talked about them. And I think maybe in one of the live member readings that Lisa does. So I'm in the Unicorn Fam, which is Lisa's membership. And she does once a month readings for the members. Always an amazing time. And she used these oracle decks all together. So I guess I'll reveal stuff like building the suspense of them. But it's the Oracle of Oddities. I think the creator's name is Claire Goodchild, and she's also the creator of I have it in this like bag that came with the French tarot, the Tarot of the Strange Antlers, branches. Anyway, I put it in this bag. These are the backs. And so I saw these, this is Oracle of Oddities, volume 1, 2, and 3 all together. And I saw them, I'm pretty sure for the first time, yeah, on Lisa's channel. I do have the Antique Anatomy Tarot. And she did a reading for me with this deck during one of the live member readings that was really, really memorable for me and really good. And I'd been thinking about then getting these decks. It's a little pricey, and they are, you gotta, I'll leave a link to where I got them. I'm not sure if it's still available there, but I know that I had heard that she wasn't, that the creator was not going to do another reprinting of them from her own, like wherever she just sells her decks. I don't know if it's like a website or she has an Etsy shop, but in any case, because it's not mass market like Antique Anatomy is. Anyway, so this was a little while back that I got the reading from Lisa. And anyway, long story short, too late. I finally bit the bullet and saved up, you know, just to get these decks combined. And they, you know, like they mesh. Obviously, they're just the 3 volumes of the same art, you know, the same art style, the same back. They're meant to be together. They just come in 3 different packs. So I didn't have to like create anything here. It was here for me. But this is, I mean, this is a pretty good size. I don't know how many cards it is once you get it all together. There was like a couple of duplicates. and one card that just didn't work for me that I took out. But other than that, like, this is a good size oracle deck, and it's an amazing oracle deck. Like, the day that I got this, I put them together and I started working with it alongside tarot. I did oracle readings just by itself with these oracle cards, which is not something I typically do. And it worked, and it was like, sorry, there's a plane going by, if you hear that. But like, I think Lisa said this too, and I totally agree with her, because Antique Anatomy, I'm not sure about still. This is what I wanted Antique Anatomy to be. I wanted the symbolism of the body parts and the skeleton and the thing to match the meaning of the tarot card. And here we have a keyword. So this is just so the right type of oracle deck for me. I love this like kind of morbid stuff, but it's also beautiful. I love just a one keyword oracle. That's usually the thing I like, which was what these are. These have just one word as well. But I'm not going to show you all the cards. God, I love that one. Manifest. Look at that. So good. I prefer this one to the other oracle that she has that's just like object names rather than like these more expansive keyword type things. Awaken. Cycle. Look at that with the... And then like, I love how some of them are the skeletons and some is like muscles and different organs and things like that. Infected. This is good. See, like, it's worked beautifully. It's made sense to me. It just makes sense to me. I don't know how to explain it otherwise, because the other deck it just didn't work all as one. It didn't make sense in the way that I was using it. Maybe I'll try it, you know. Maybe I don't know if I'm yet giving up on like the answering the questions in this, but I definitely have separated the mega deck. And then this is an example of a mega deck, I think, a mega oracle deck that was meant to be. And obviously it's because the creator created it that way. Just additionally added more cards. Look at this sorrow card. It's just perfect, and it's aesthetically, it really works aesthetically and energetically with lots of different tarot. I put it next to, and I honestly just really enjoyed doing a straight up, reading with just this deck, and that was new. That was really different for me. It's not something that I often do. So yeah, so that is the Oracle of Oddities by Claire Goodchild. It's my, it's what's working right now. So that's one thing that wasn't working and one thing that is working. And then I'll tell you about something else. So this is going to take a little bit more explanation, I think. So for those of you that may not know, I don't know if you've been hanging out with me at all for a little bit, you'll know that now I'm in like year 2 of working with the tarot and oracle, and like kind of on this like, spiritual journey. If you've been, if you joined me, I've mentioned before that I identified as an atheist for a really long time. So like dating and getting in touch with, spirituality, like astrology, all of this stuff that's come, that's come about because I've, learned the tarot and been reading the tarot, has been just like it's just been a really fascinating time in my life to like experience new things, experiment with new things, kind of figure out what I believe and what I don't believe, and, just kind of like deconstruct and reconstruct my set of, my set of beliefs or non-beliefs or whatever. And so one of the things that I was attracted to right away in terms of oracle and doing readings was the moon. And if any of you, like if you ever shop for witchy or tarot things, like the moon is, and the moon phases is like, pit stop number one, like in terms of like what you see. Or maybe it's just me, like you guys tell me, but I feel like it's everywhere. Like the moon phases is a big deal. It's a big deal as a woman. It's just, the moon is a big deal in terms of like, witchery and magic and things like that. And I get that, I totally get it. And I love it. Like I love the symbolism of the moon. I love the metaphor of the moon. I love the science side of things too. Like in reality, the science, not that I'm not talking about reality, but like scientifically, I love the idea, like learning about literally what's going on during the moon phases. I have loved, getting very basic understanding I have of astrology and like when the moon is in whatever zodiac sign, stuff like that. I've enjoyed learning that stuff. I love everything about the moon. Like who doesn't love the mystery of the moon? I'm more of a night person than a day person. Like like photos of the moon, the moon card, the high priestess card, like the way the moon is depicted in the tarot and an oracle. One of the first oracle decks that I got was this one, the Moonology. And I still like love this deck. I don't use it though. I was using it. So here's where the thing is that's not working. Because I can't see. Unless, yeah. So I edged this one. Look how pretty. Yeah. So I've had this for 2 years now, I think, right? And I've always wanted to from the start because it's something I saw all around. And the moon, I feel connected to the moon, to the cycles of the moon. I guess in some ways, like I feel like I understand the magic. Like I want to feel connected. Like I look at the moon. I understand like the energy and things like that. I really do. Like I love the idea in theory. In practice, it hasn't worked out for me at all. Like at all. Like I've tried to do readings on the full moon. I've tried to do readings on the new moon, the dark moon, which is sort of the same thing, but like the dark moon is the one night and then the new moon begins when it starts waxing again towards becoming full. I love these cards. This is like so my aesthetic, like these like the celestial stuff. Like I always gravitate towards, journal covers and things like that have these like pretty starry backgrounds and stuff like that, and these colors, the purples and blues and all that kind of stuff I really enjoy. Like this. Pretty. So I've tried for 2 years, I guess, to make moon readings a part of my practice by setting myself up to do rituals or tarot readings on the evening of the full moon and the new moon. I was able to, for some time, to do full moon. Full moon is the one that I got the most out of when I did do this. How would I do this? So I would use, one of these decks. I also have the Moon Oracle deck, which I didn't grab. And then I've used things like, Ethany has like a free Tarot by the Moon PDF where, it's free, it's great. And then it has like the full moon and the new moon, and it tells you what sign it's in. And then it also gives you like prompts for a tarot reading. Like for example, this is the last full moon. I can show you because I think I did the reading, but I didn't do like any real journaling around it. This is my journal that I'm paging through. So like I would do something like this, right? Oops, let me just make sure I'm not, okay. So like, I would do something like this, and then she's got it was the full moon in Leo. And then, oh, I guess I did write a little bit, the, and I drew, and it's pretty, and like I love, drawing the moon and doing the whole thing in my journal. But like I get to the reading and it just completely falls flat. Like it wasn't, it's nothing wrong with the prompts, because the prompts aren't like any wildly different from other like reading, what do you call them, positions, that it's not anything wildly different. It's very similar to a lot of other prompts and things that I found on Instagram, and whenever you look up and find tarot spreads. I did that too. So like aside from Ethanies, I would go on, I would Google and look for like the full moon in Leo, and then I would find some prompts. I tried doing just like free form without any prompts or positions. I tried not doing like a specific tarot reading, rather doing more like a, kind of ritual to get in touch with the energy of that moon phase, and maybe some goddess work around that too. And that was okay as well. But like at the end of the day, what ended up happening is that I just felt like the whole thing just felt forced. Like it wasn't like, it didn't click with me in the way that I really wanted it to. And so I'm making peace with it because I feel like I can appreciate and love and be in tune in whatever way with the energy of the moon, the cycles of the moon, like appreciate the metaphor, like understand that, and love it, and still not, I just don't want to force myself to do the readings anymore. So I'm stopping that practice because it doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. Maybe I'll try again in the future, but right now it's just not working for me. So, but what is working for me is something else. And it's so funny because if you had asked me when I started this thing what practice I would feel most connected to 2 years from now, if you had asked me, would it be the moon or this, I would have totally said the moon, because I would have felt like the moon just, like encapsulates the way that I felt, like the way that I prefer or would want to define myself more than this other thing. So this other thing is animals. And I've mentioned this before, that I'm not an animal person. Like I really am not. I love my dog. I've always had dogs, but I'm not like, out in nature, like, I don't know, maybe I have this definition of what an animal person is because they're like a vegetarian or a vegan, or they are somebody who like, just loves to hold and, animals and thinks every animal is like adorable and like, whatever. I don't know. Or somebody who's like, trekking through the woods and hiking and camping and stuff like that. And that's just like my idea of what an animal person is. Like, what does that even mean? So I'm making peace with the fact that the moon thing is not working with me, and coming to define and understand my connection with animals, because it works. I have accumulated like a lot of animal tarot decks, a lot of animal oracle decks, and I joined Tegan, who is Cosmic Creepers Tube here on YouTube. She's amazing. Like if you don't know Tegan, like get on over and watch her content, because she's amazing. She's really, really smart. I tell her this all the time because I've gotten to know her a little bit. She's amazing. She's brilliant. She's good stuff, as a human and content-wise on her channel. But in any case, Tegan has a Patreon that I joined, and she does, I'm not going to give away, exactly like the content of what she does, because you would have to join to get that. But just, to give you an idea, and I'll put links below where you can find out more. She does something every month called called animal gnosis, and the idea is that she chooses an animal, or that there's an animal that we focus on our learning around, and what we know and what we believe or whatever. I mean, that's what it does for me. She does a write up. She talks. We engage with that animal in different ways. So she gives us activities and all kinds of stuff that she writes up about the animal. and then for me, and she does tarot spreads and things like that as well. So like she gives like a lot of stuff to work with. And then also, I kind of, when I started this a couple months ago, I just like dove right in, and it just like made perfect sense to me. Like it just worked. Like everything about it just worked. And like I said, I'm not an animal person. I don't think I am, but maybe I am. Like, because it just speaks to me. This month is, the animal is toad. So I brought out, this is from oh my gosh, I forget. I just had it out on my desk. It's from the Animal Spirit Oracle. I'll put the links down below. So here's Toad, Listening Secrecy. This is from the Animal Wise Tarot. Here's Toad, Inner Strength and Resources, and it's the Seven of Wands in this deck. And then this is from a brand new oracle that I just got, the Tarot Oracle. I got this like yesterday, and I pulled Toad out. And greed is the key word here for Toad, which is really cool. So this has been working beautifully for me. And who would have thought? I mean, especially like Toad, because come on, like, for someone like me, like the first instinct is like, ew. But what ended up happening was like Toad made sense to me, because like the metaphor of Toad, the story of Toad, the magic of Toad, the connections with my own reality with toads in the area and the place where I live. Like I went and fell down this whole like rabbit hole of looking up like the kinds of toads in my area. And like I was literally watching like a professor from a local university talking about the differences. I was watching like these videos of this professor that had these toads. He was talking about how, the different features of the toads. Like, I don't study toads. I'm not like in any way that type of person, but like I'm fascinated by this. And so like as soon as Tegan said toad, I'm like, okay, let's go. We're doing toad. Let's get into it. And it made sense. Like the fairy tale aspect of Toad, like I was just like immediately involved in that. I also then was like, oh, maybe I'll look up some poetry and see if there's anything about Toad. And I'll share more about that poem, about the poem that I found when I do my monthly wrap up. But I found a poem called Toad, and it's so good. And it's like, it was so perfect. And it was about life and death and cycles of life and death. And like, the narrator's like connection to the men in her life, and the fairy tale about, kissing the toad or kissing the frog or whatever. So it just like, it all made sense to me. And I pulled, this toad out, and I did a reading, and it made sense. And it just like all of it coming together, just created a narrative, or like a thought, like a thought cycle, an idea pattern that was working for me with what it is that I'm working on in my own life. Self-worth and self-esteem and body image. And it just so happened that Toad lines up too with another practice that I'm doing this month as well. And it just all comes together, and it works for me. So yeah, so like that's it. That's what's going on. Like true confessions of things that didn't work, but like, this isn't working, is what I wanted to tell you. Like, these things aren't working, but it's okay because these things are. And I wanted to share that with you in case you were, you know, very busy trying to make something work in your tarot and oracle practice, or in your spiritual, you know, practice, or whatever. And it's like, you know, not working. And I invite you to, you know, like, listen to my story and kind of consider what, you know, what, if anything, is like that for you, and then kind of redirect so that you can see what is working. I joked with Lisa, because I think I told her that I might be making a video like this, where it's kind of like her this and that, you know, with oracle, with tarot and oracle decks. But it's more like this or that with the practices, and like what needs to go, and what is really working, you know, what needs to go and what is really working instead. And that's how I feel. Like, the Oracle of Oddities, I just whipped myself in the face with this. The Oracle of Oddities is a mega oracle deck that is working for me. And the practice of animal gnosis, where I, you know, stick with, you know, through the guidance, through Tegan's guidance right now in her Patreon, is what's working for me. And not just, you know, Tegan's Patreon, which I love and appreciate, but like just animal, like my understanding of my connection with animals in general, and the story of them, and how it affects me. And what I can learn. Like, that's all just, you know, it's working. It's working more than me forcing some idea that I have to be like somehow connected to the moon in my tarot practice, or the moon has to be a part of it. You know, like, I got a lunar diary. So this is probably gonna, you know, fulfill some other uses for me this year. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's what's not working, but it's okay because these other things are working. And oh my gosh, look at that cute pup back there. All right, so that's it. I've chatted at you for about 30 minutes now. I think that's good. And yeah, I thank you all for sticking around with me, and hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye.